I'm back, geniuses. I'm back. I found a gap. I'm going to do it outside today. I want to get some air. It's really nice. A little bit chilly, but I think we're going to get through it. I wanted to pull in my back. Too much sun. Anyway, I found a gap in you guys' knowledge, and let's talk about it. I keep talking about blessing your energy centers with your attention, with your thinking, with your creative imagination. But one of the things that is now missing is that you guys are wondering, how do I feel it? What does it mean? Especially when we talk about going from the heart energy center all the way to 1, then going to 7, going to 8. What does that feel like? What am I supposed to feel? How do I know it's working? That's an important topic, fundamental gap that we found. So let's talk about it from my perspective. Now, I need help here. I need some of you that have been feeling your energy centers. What do you imagine? What do you embody? What do you feel when you go from one energy center to the next? How do you feel when you actually feel some of your energy centers? So you can probably feel some of them strong, some of them not so strong. Like my number 2 was weak, but my number 2 is pretty good these days. I can feel my number 2, literally feel it. Number 2 is where you generally tie your belt, right? Tie your pants. That's number 2. And then number 1 is all the way down where you do Kegel. You can feel number 1. 2 is your belt line. 3 is your upper belly. Just I feel it right above my belly button. 4 is your I'm sorry. 4 is your heart. 5 is your throat. Couldn't feel my throat 6 months ago, but now I feel my throat very strongly. When I focus on my number 5, I can feel the pulsations of perhaps my jugulars or something, but in the back of my throat, near my spine, I can feel a little pulsation. Now, and then number 6 is between your ears and right behind your eye and the back of the head. So you can think of that as a little weird cross between your ears, right above your nose, between your eyes, all the way back. Just throw a line between your eyes right above your nose. So what's happening is you have your brain sitting right at this line, and right at the bottom of the brain, between your ears and from your eye line all the way straight back to the occipital bone. That's what it's called. It's been forever since I went to med school, okay? Don't judge me. So that's the pineal gland. That's number 6. Now, pineal gland is the most magical one that you'll feel. And that is the hardest one to tap into, right? And I once heard Matthew McConaughey, I think in a speech at some college or university, where he said that things that are worth it feel better when you sweat for it, right? So keep doing the work. I couldn't feel my number 2 when I started on this journey. I feel it amazingly now. I couldn't feel anything in my number 5. I can feel it the whole time I'm focused on it. My numbers 7 and 8 are very strong. So my 7 is right at the top of your crown, right? So I used to imagine when I started this journey, I would just imagine there's an apple sitting on my head. The moment I just said that statement, I immediately felt the weight of the apple, and I just immediately felt the energy move. It's kind of fun when you go deep into meditations and you become less and less energy and more and more energy, less and less particle. Less matter, more energy. The more you liberate energies out of your energy centers, the more lighter you become as a being. And that's when you can not only feel energies more, you can play with them more. And I had a couple examples. I think as they come to me, I'll share them. So when I feel my number one, let's just go through 1 through 8, okay? When I feel my number one, I will do a soft Kegel. So number one energy center is between your front procreation part, sexual organ, and your butt. So it's right between your two funny parts. Right between, right? So when you do a Kegel, when you contract your butt, and when you contract the muscles that you would use to hold your pee back, you would hold when your bladder is full. You're using the front muscles to make sure that you're not peeing unless you go to the restroom. So as you do that, at the same time, and you contract your butt and you contract that, both of them, you're pushing energy from the bottom all the way up to your brain. And if you get good at this, the moment you squeeze, you will immediately feel a wave just shoot to your 7. You'll feel it very, very quick. It's very, very quick. So I'm going to say things that may not make sense to you, but I want some of you guys that have started to feel it to talk to us. So the new people that are just beginning to understand. I can't believe there are so many hungry people for this knowledge. I can't believe I'm talking to like people from 15 countries. I have their name on my phone and the country they're calling me from and texting me from, and I have all this. This is amazing, guys. We're living at a time, as Sadhguru and Dr. Joe Dispenza and Eckhart Tolle, everybody says, the knowledge is no longer enough. We need to know how. We need to dig into this. And when we do that, all of us, as we do this, as we're on this journey, when we raise our collective energy, as we raise our energy, we are literally raising the magnetic field of Earth, of this planet, which then affects everybody. I mean, 99% of us is in the quantum, right? 0.001% of us is still in the hologram, but most of our existence is in the quantum. We're all connected because quantum is non-local. It's a thought world. So when you get out of your body, you can do things instantly. You can travel. You can leave your body and be out for hours and hours and hours and come back, and it's only been 5 minutes because you're outside of time. And I want you guys to feel it. Magical. Okay, so we talked about number one. When I used to work on my number two and I felt nothing, even in my meditation, especially when I was laying down or when I would be up, I would touch my belt line. As soon as I would focus, I would press on my belt. And then I would at least be able to put my awareness back on what I just pressed, right? I would press my belt line and I'd be like, okay, that's number two. And after some of the mystical experience I had, it's so hard to describe it, guys. Somebody's asking me, who did you meet? Who did you see? How did it, what? It's really hard to describe, but I'm going to continue to describe it. But one thing I do want you to keep in mind, it feels, when you get to the mystical experience, it feels like you're making love to your brain. It truly feels that. It feels like your brain is having an orgasm, and then that orgasm just goes all the way down to your body, and everything comes back up, and it's just all over the place. And then you're just like, whoa! It's pretty wild. I want you guys to feel it, because the moment that happens, your personality spontaneously, instantly just changes. Everything in your body upgrades. Your brain instantly changes. Your field instantly changes. And then the only thing you have to do for that change to become a reality is to keep doing it. Because the first change that occurs in your body is too new. Those neurons that are firing and wiring together are new synaptic connections, New synaptic connections are very weak unless you keep doing them, unless you keep revisiting them, unless you keep doing the work over and over again. Those synaptic connections you can lose within hours or days. This is why when you meditate, and the more better you get at it, when you end the meditation and you take the blindfold off, you're supposed to walk up, get up within that meditative state, and just continue doing some things around and try to stay in that deep meditative state as long as possible. And yes, you'll lose it. And then later on, you might do another meditation, or the next morning, you might do another meditation, or at night. Timing doesn't matter, guys. You guys keep questioning yourself about when, time, what. There's no magic portal you need to catch. I mean, there are portals around the world that helps you with, like Cancun is one of the places. That's why Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it the holy ground, because if you meditate on the Cancun ground, it just helps you better. It helps you as much as it would from a collective energy, right? It's That's why they call it the holy ground. And there are other ones around the world, but we don't need to worry about that. It's too early for you guys to be focused on any of that nonsense. Focus on you. We talked about one, we talked about two. And at the end, I'm going to talk about movements. How do we move from one to the other? And what is one of the things that I do in my walking meditation? And I'll talk about that at the end. So let's talk about three. Three is the upper abdominal area. Now remember, every energy center has its own hormones, its own brain, its own way of doing things. You know? The top one, the number 3, is working through all the organs that it is surrounded by, liver and everything else. Right? You harmonize that, you make your liver healthy, you make your kidneys healthy, you make all this stuff. Everything around you, the muscles and everything else, it harmonizes it. It just makes it more fluid, makes it less matter and more energy in a way as well. And then what that does is you establish coherence within your field. Let me make sure I'm still recording. I forgot to take myself on airplane mode in case somebody calls me, and then my recording will stop. I'm going to get better at this, guys. I'm going to get a real camera, and I'm going to start editing things, and yeah, that's my goal for next week. Okay, so we talked about number 3. When I talk about number 3, what I do is I will try to inhale. As I inhale, I'll suck my upper belly in just a little bit, just so that I feel it, so that it's easier for me to put my awareness on it, because I'm moving physically, I'm moving something in my body. So it's almost as if I'm pulling in my belly and up, in and up, just my upper belly. I leave my lower belly relaxed, just my upper belly. And as I pull it in very slowly and relax it in a little bit, pull it in a little, guess what? My attention is now on that spot. I'm thinking about that spot, and I visualize a little ball of beautiful yellowish energy or whatever, a little light in there, a little ball of it. And it's just there. And I imagine that it's attached to my spine. Okay? And I'll tell you why that's important at the end. I hate one of those videos. Stay till the end, and we're like, no, I'm telling you, because at the end I'm going to talk about the movement of how we can connect multiple energy centers. That's what I mean. Jesus. So that's number 3. Number 4, heart again. So when Dr. Joe says, or when you're listening to, or you might not be listening to anything but music, and you focus on your 3rd energy center, you blessed it, you give it love, and then you move to the 4th one, and here's how I picture it. That a ball of energy moved from 3rd to 4th as an elevator. Okay? Just an elevator, went to the heart. Why do I picture that? Because I want my attention to get off of my number 3 and completely move to number 4, like 4th floor. So there's like 8 floors, and the elevator is now going from 3 to 4. And as I focus on my heart, I picture that in my heart now use your own imagination, whatever works for you. I'm not everybody's imagination levels and creativity levels are different, right? That's why I need to hear from you guys. So when I get more and more questions, because I'm talking to a lot of people, guys. I spoke to like 25 people just in the past 24 hours. And everybody's struggling a little bit differently. So it helps, especially the Gupta girl. You know, she's getting a lot of help from a lot of you guys, especially as she comments on the videos. So please help her out. Okay. I made a couple of videos for her. I will continue to do that. And Gupta, my email address is in my description. You want to call me? You want to talk one-on-one? Give me a call and then let's chat. Or send me an email and then we'll connect. We'll schedule a time and then I'll give you a call and you can give me some more context. Okay. So, because I want to make sure that my feedback to you is more accurate based on your story, your context, and everything else. I don't want to generally just be telling you things because they may or may not help as much, right? Okay, so we go to the heart. I then imagine that that ball just on 4th floor decides to turn into a flower, opens up. But who is feeding that? Who is feeding my energy centers? So when I'm in 1, when I'm in 2, when I'm in 3, when I'm in 4, where's all this extra energy coming from? Now this is where I become the magician. This is what works for me, and I want to know if you guys have ever tried this, and I want to know if there's other things that you guys have tried. There's 2 ways I do this. If I'm sitting up or if I'm standing, I have a constant beam of energetic light coming into my head, my number 7. That's why my number 7 and 8 are so strong. Because even when I'm working, even if I'm sending emails out, I'll just, every 2 minutes, every 4 minutes, every 6 minutes, I'll take a deep breath. And I will just feel that beam coming through 8. And the moment it's coming down through 8, I tell myself, I'm worthy. I'm worthy. That's what that is. And then it comes down to 7. And it's just this quantum has this beam coming down into my head, and it's feeding. And it's feeding. Because this is like an elevator shaft, right? 8 floors. And it's just feeding, giving that energy down to whatever energy center I'm focused on. So if I'm focused in my heart, the flower in my heart opens up, the energy goes, touches my 8, reminds me that I'm worthy, goes into 7, skips 7, doesn't stop, skips my number 6, skips my number 5, and goes straight and fills that flower with just infinite, pure love. And it constantly just does that. And I can feel the energy coming all the way to my heart, skipping 7, 6, 5, all the way to 4. And I'm only focused on 4. And my 4 is just overflowing with love, and it's feeding my field. It's changing my field. It becomes so powerful. It becomes so powerful. Okay, we're at number 4. Let's keep going. My number 5. Sorry. Okay, my number 5. I'm feeling very, very strongly. Guys, when you get used to this, you focus on your energy center, and you close your eyes, and you take a deep breath, and you just feel it. Then you just expand your hands. You can feel it feeding your field. It's coming down from the quantum, and it's filling your energy center. It's making it strong. And Feel this pulse coming out of every energy center and just shooting out in a circle to your field. And it changes everything. You can just feel everything starts to change. You're not thinking about anything. And you start to feel this just calmness, this relaxedness, this love. I was talking to Kyo from Tokyo, Japan. She felt that when I spoke to her. She was so happy. She was laughing. She's like, oh my God, my heart just opened up. It's so relaxed. We're all going to know how to do this. You all are going to know how to do this. For each other. For the people that are on your same journey. It's not possible for people. You can't make that change into people unless their hearts are open. You have to practice opening up your heart. That's how you receive. Then you go to the throat. You bless your throat by simply just putting attention to it. And if you do that long enough, you'll start to feel your jugulars pulsate. Your awareness becomes stronger because the energy center brains are becoming different. They're evolving. Everything within you is changing. It's changing your personality because it's changing your thoughts of frequency, frequencies, information. All of that is changing. Your field is changing. Your energy center brains are changing. Your hormones and chemicals are changing. It's changing your brain, and it's changing the way you think about life, the way you make decisions, the way you deal with your emotions, the way you solve your problems, the way you communicate with people. I bet some of you guys, at least some of you guys, if not all of you guys that talk to me directly, you guys have never spoken to anyone like that. To a person you're speaking to for the first time, let's say. You know, I'm talking to some of you guys that consider yourself a reserved person. And 10 minutes into the conversation, you guys are pouring your life stories out. Your insecurities, your everything. You just drop the wall. You surrender within the moment. You just open your heart and you just speak and receive when I tell you things. And you just feel it. Some of you guys, I have heard that you guys just start laughing, smiling uncontrollably. You guys are giving me feedback that is just so beautiful, magnetic, contagious. You know? Love energy, the energy of this journey is much more contagious than contagious diseases, guys. So you bless your number 5, no big deal there. And if you focus on it enough times, and if you can't feel your throat chakra, try to just swallow. Right? Very slowly, every few seconds. Hopefully you guys are hydrated when you do this. And then you go to number 6. I wonder if there's people coming. Then you go to number 6. I already talked about between the ears, behind the eye. Behind the eye, when it crosses the line of between the ears. Little tiny pineal gland. And if you focus on that enough times, and you feel this little ball of energy between that one particular cross-sectional spot, you'll begin to feel it. You use your imagination, but don't be imagining it out there. Imagine it within you. That's the key. And then number 7, just pretend there's something sitting on your head. And you just focus on that. Pretend there's an apple sitting on your head. And how do I picture my number 8? Some of you probably guessed it. There's another energy center on the other side of the apple. Right at the top of the apple. Okay, now I promised at the end I was going to talk about something, the movement of the elevators, all 8 floors. So my 8th energy center, I picture a tiny glass ball, or just a tiny clear ball, that is just emitting beautiful light, right, of love. And within that ball, I imagine myself in it. You know how you see the little Christmas balls that you can shake and it just all snows and moves around, whatever that's called. I don't know. So I imagine me, my future self in there, and I'm just standing like this in front of my house, in my driveway of my next house, in my driveway like this. And I have my Tesla on my right side, my uh, SUV, BMW in front of me, and my third car that I don't have yet that I need to buy. So my third car is right there, and I'm facing the house. So the BMW is right in front of the door, the steps, and that goes into the door. There's pillars, and I can see the second floor has a little balcony, and I'm just, and of course there's a whole driveway that goes in the back, and I see the gate on the other side. With my driveway, there's another road that goes behind to where my gardens are, and my horse or animals that runs into all the way back in my lake where I have my tiny fishing boat. So, and that river runs across on the side of my house. So I picture that, and I did that all 7 days of the retreat. I don't know how that happened. It just sort of happened when I closed my eyes. I just saw it. So I'm like, okay, that's mine. And why did I do this? Because these walking meditations are so strong, so powerful, that sometimes when you're doing your walking meditations, you will get into trance so deep that your hands on the side are just not happy. And you're not doing anything, by the way. This is the crazy part. I wasn't doing anything, and my hands just went up like this. I didn't raise them, they just raised themselves. And I just stopped and I just looked up, and I was just, of course, I'm dripping tears off my beard. I had to overcome that, how we were raised hearing men don't cry. We can only cry if the loved ones die. That is the only time you're allowed to cry. But hey, when the infinite love hits you, there's nothing you can control. You just have to surrender, because the moment you control, you contract and you lose it. That's why even the men in this journey, we must surrender. Now, that was a little tough for me because I'm a soldier. I'm a veteran. I was like, surrender. American soldiers don't surrender. So, but that was my problem that I had to overcome. Just like you guys have yours, right? And then I picture my future self in that little ball, all of this stuff that I just described. And then that ball comes into my 7, comes into through the 6, comes through the 5, gets into my heart, and the heart energy ball with a flower. Now this little ball of future, little globe that I have, just goes in it. And I bless my heart, and I give thanks, and I remind myself that this future me in the ball, this future me is so thankful, so grateful, so blessed, so worthy, so divine, so full of energy, so full of life, so charitable, so happy, so complete, so whole, that how could you even want anything when you feel all those things? And the future is already in your heart. It's right here. You're receiving it. You're attracting the synchronicities. You're attracting the coincidences. And when you do that from the place of outside of space and time, when there's no separation, and then you get up from that meditation within the same mindset that you had when you had this deep meditation. When you do that, watch out, as Dr. Joe would say, because things will happen. They will surprise you. They will shock you. And when that happens, the conviction, the confidence, you look at yourself in the mirror after that and you're like, I am a magician. I want you guys to feel that. I want you guys to feel that. Let me see if I'm still recording. All right, I am. Oh my goodness, 30 minutes. I apologize. Okay, so this was a fundamental gap. I wanted it to be a little bit more detailed. I wanted to talk about this, but I do need to hear some questions because I might have missed some things. In hearing my stories, a lot of you guys are then asking me questions. So if I hear from the 25 people that I'm texting and calling these days, then I'll address it in another video. If it's just a small question here and there, I'll just contact you guys privately offline and I'll address it. But I'm here to help, guys. I'm so happy you guys are on this journey. I freaking love you guys.